We're off the hook, man.
Yeah, that was good stuff. How's it going, man? We had a crazy couple of weeks. How's it going, brother?
We did have a crazy couple of weeks, you know what I mean? And here we are again. It's actually a full moon right now. It's the full strawberry moon. So it's up in the sky, man. I don't know if you've been feeling anything a little bit, any type of spiritual effects, you know what I mean? Feeling really happy, feeling, really frustrated or getting good sleep, getting bad sleep. But I always take a look around this time of the month, around the full moon, and kind of, take a look at how it's affecting people's behavior. You know what I mean?
That's interesting because the last time there was a full moon, I think we were on episode 3 or 4, and I think I had a migraine. And I had like a little weird migraine today, so maybe
something. You said you got tired and you took a nap, and that was uncharacteristic.
Yeah.
You said you had a migraine again today?
Yeah. I felt a little weird today. It was kind of lingering around, and I've been doing everything good, so I'm like, what's going on? So then I felt, I felt really good after a point today, but also I felt a little tired. So maybe that full moon is messing me up.
Yeah, exactly. Last one was a super full moon. This is just a normal one. But you still had a little something. Yeah, a little bit up and downs for me, you know what I mean? Had some frustration, in the workplace and whatnot. And I, asked myself, you never feel this way. You never feel frustrated. What could it be? And, sure enough, it was a full moon. My wife was complaining the other day. I didn't go to sleep last night because of the moon. We're both kind of aware of it, So just something interesting to kind of, keep track of,
Definitely. What was she saying about, how did she feel about it?
Well, we both have a little bit of issues sleeping when there's a full moon, but she said, she couldn't go to bed. And on top of that, I guess, we've really, really thin curtains or whatnot. And the moon was literally like shining right outside her window. So it was kind of illuminating the window too, So I didn't see it. I just rolled over and I was snoring. But for her, you know what I mean? It affected her more.
Yeah, I'm a child of the sun though, so I don't know.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So what's on your mind? How's it been over there now? I know there's been a lot of, emotion after this George Floyd incident and some, rioting and a little bit of violence.
It might have been that full moon.
It might have just been the full moon.
Yeah.
So we're good for a month now, right?
We're good for a month, and we'll see what happens. I mean, it's election year over here in America, man. So as we get close to that, it seems like everything gets a little crazy.
It gets a little crazy, yeah.
One thing I did want to talk about tonight is being proactive or reactive. Which I guess you have to. If you don't choose one, you're going to be reactive. But what do you think about that? What do you think about just the two words, proactive and reactive?
Well, obviously, when you're pro something, you know what I mean? It's always, that word is always associated with something, with a better way of doing it or the right way of doing it. But proactive and reactive is like this. I mean, if you want to be reactive, let's say it's a situation where you need to take action. You see something that is not right and somebody needs to intervene. If you're reactive, you will wait until you get like an internal signal. Let's say, you see someone getting into, like an argument or a theft in place, and you know that you can stop it. If you're reactive, you'll stand around until something propels you in action. Either you get that fight or flight response after a few minutes, and that gets you into action, or somebody pushes you into action. That's kind of like reactive, you know what I mean? If you're proactive, you already have a thought in your mind, I need to get involved. You don't wait until fight or flight kicks in and now you're going to run or take action. You don't wait until somebody else tells you to make a move. The thought came to your mind because you were that conscious. You know what I mean? You were conscious of the situation. You didn't need a biological happening in your body to push you to do it or somebody else to tell you that. You were just aware of it because you meditated on it beforehand, or you hold some type of belief or value that puts you into action at that time. So to me, that would be the difference between proactive and reactive. Proactive is You were ready for the situation. You consciously made a decision, not
Definitely.
something else propelled you into it, like fear or
Yeah.
anger or somebody else, right?
Definitely. No, I like those two definitions. So I guess, I mean, how does one live a proactive life opposed to a reactive life where they're kind of just responding to things? How do you get into a realm of essentially is consciousness, being aware, so you can, being ready for anything that come, and really being aware of your surroundings and in your future, your past, and your present.
Yeah, I mean, how you get that way is it's not by, letting other people tell you what to think. It's not by reading the latest headline on social media. It is by, constantly reflecting on what you see and judging it for yourself. And not only that, but judging, also taking a look at other people around you and seeing how it affects them as well. But ultimately, it's the values that you hold in your mind. If you believe that you are superior to somebody else in some way, you're never going to be able to make a fair action or a fair judgment at any time. You have to have a conscious mind. You have to believe that. Sorry, my dog's going off there. I'll cut that out. I'll just start again. To become conscious, you have to have the right type of values. Like if your value is that, rich people are superior to people of lesser means, well, how can you take the right action at the right given time if your thoughts are so imbalanced, right? So, how we can be conscious, how we can take the right action, it's that spiritual development, you know what I mean? Getting those values wherever you're getting them from, whether
Yeah.
it's from religion, spirituality, reading, meeting up with your friends, you've got to work on that enlightenment phase.
Yeah, yeah, the enlightenment phase, man. And just, like you say, wherever you get, so kind of seeking sources outside of yourself. There's an old saying that says, lean not onto your own understanding. So getting wisdom from other people, seeking wisdom at the crossroads from maybe someone that has more experiences than you or more wisdom than you in certain areas, because there's always going to be those people. Those people are people that have lived. We're fortunate that we live in the information era,
Yeah.
so we seek people that are not even here anymore, right? That may
Yeah.
be in our discipline or in our field or have answered questions that
Mm-hmm.
we don't know the answer to. Now we can look and get information from them. So I find that fascinating, that
Yeah.
we can seek wisdom from people that's not even here because,
Absolutely.
of things that we have did in the past that created technology and stuff like that. But I mean, how would those people feel if they were to look at us today, or how we're even really using information and technology? Are we making the most of this thing? Or are we just kind of using it for more, more fun? I have a theory.
Yeah.
I say there's three disciplines you must apply if you want to live a good life.
Okay.
That's fitness. It's
Mm-hmm.
the three F's: fitness,
Okay.
finances, and fun. So
There you
fitness
go.
is health. Finances, obviously you got to discipline yourself. You got to know how to budget. And then fun. Fun boils down to a lot of things now.
Mm-hmm.
Not just lusting after women and stuff like that, but fun boils down now to it. We're in a society where Netflix and binge watching can really
Mm-hmm.
ruin your life. Can you imagine? Every night I get off of work, I binge watch an episode. Now you're just a Netflix expert, and I don't know if somebody pays you for that, but as far as I
No.
know, nobody's giving any money for that.
No. Not that I
Maybe in
know of.
the maybe in the future.
Maybe if you write for like some magazine, or I don't, do people read magazines? Sorry, website. You write for
Yeah,
some blog or something like that. You know what I mean?
maybe. I
It could
mean,
be.
maybe that's a job opportunity for you, but just think of how much worthless time is spent with this
Yeah.
technology that we have created. So
Yeah. It's good and technology's bad. You know what I mean? Like when you, that raises the question of like, you know, headed, I don't want to go too further this, but like we're headed to like AI, you know what I mean? And we're going to have, you know, get to a point where we can have, you know, human like robots inside of our house doing our work, washing our dishes, cooking for us. Is that something we should be doing, or is it not something we should be doing? You know what I mean? Should we have autonomous cars that are driving themselves? Right? Should we
It's
be
heavy.
moving to Bitcoin as a currency? You know what I mean? I don't know. There's so many
It's
different
heavy
things going on.
because
Yeah.
there's benefits in it. I mean, that's heavy because there's benefits in certain things to let the computer do. It's like it makes everyday life easier, right?
Yeah.
But as we know, as technology rises, civilization fall. You know, as technology rises, civilization falls. Look at Rome. Look at Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Then,
Wow.
you know, do we want to be the next one?
Powerful.
Because the generations to come are missing having the ability to actually do the things that the robot is replacing. So it's taken away from them. It's taken away their capacity to think. So, you know, I can understand the theory of artificial intelligence taking over, because if we create things that take away our capacity to think,
Yes.
and we're just leaning on them, you know, it might not be tomorrow, not be 10 years from now, but you know, 50 to 100 years from now, that could really hurt us.
It could. And, you know, that brings up a point for me is that, you know, now when we grew up, there was no internet. So we had to learn everything by firsthand being engaged in it, right? Nowadays, you have kids that can get all sorts of information on the internet, but they don't have the experience to really do anything with it. And I believe information without experience is kind of useless in a way. It you can regurgitate it to somebody else, and we all met someone that loves to just regurgitate stuff, but they don't even leave their parents' basement, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and that, I believe, can drive you crazy and give you a mental illness to know so much, but for that to be worth so little. You know what I mean? It won't get you a job. No one's really listening to you. You researched everything, but you haven't experienced a thing. You can tell me all about, you know, whatever, like, you know, Brazil or Mexico, but you've never even traveled there. Right? You know all about the universe from your iPhone, more than an astronaut. You know where the future, what the future's holding, right? So this too much information has become a detrimental thing.
It really has, man. It really has. It's just like yeah, I was just laughing because it's so funny, because I could begin to picture this person as you were talking.
Oh, the know-it-all.
That could do, and they have the ability, but almost that information that they consume has handicapped them.
Yes.
You know, it's just like, hey, yeah, I know all this stuff. You know, it's like, well, do you ever use that stuff? It's like a doctor goes to school for 7 years, but until he gets to practicing and actually doing that, he's no more than you. I mean, he's not really, until he gets to practicing and actually using what he has learned, then he's not really a doctor yet, is he?
And it happens on social media all the time. You know, everyone's disease expert during Corona. Everyone now is a civil rights lawyer. You know what I mean? Everyone knows everything, but no one's experienced it or practiced it. And that's what the internet's kind of brought out in us.
Man. I'm glad people are getting more active, I guess, and they got a platform for their voice to be heard. Everybody can be heard now with social media. But you know, I mean, it's like you hear the same thought coming from everybody though at the same time. It's like it has created this generic human experience. If that makes sense.
No, I agree. No, I saw an awesome an awesome quote by Ice Cube today that says success is not only making it, but making it, doing it your way. That's real success.
I do it your way, man.
Being you, like, you know what I mean? Myself right now, here I am. I've got a turban on, wearing Ray-Bans. People like, you know, who is this guy? I'm doing it my way.
Yeah.
right? I'm Yogi Infinite. This is who I am.
You got to do it your way, man. It's on, and then you can sit back and close your eyes at the end of the day and say, "Hey, I did it my way."
Mm-hmm.
And you can be happy with that. Win, lose, or draw, I did it my way. I did it the way I want to do, and that's a victory in itself.
And they
I
loved
didn't come
me
on.
for doing it my way, right?
Yeah, yeah. But speaking of doing it my way, this guy behind me, Ali,
Mm-hmm.
did it his way. They hated
Mm-hmm.
him.
Yeah.
America at a time hated him.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee at one time, 95% of America hated him, man.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to go to the war. And then,
No.
the way the media played it off is like, you're against America.
Then he changed his name from like, a
Fascist states.
relatively Americanish name
Yeah.
to a very strong, Islamic, you know, religious name in Muhammad Ali. The
Yeah.
two things at one time: refused to go serve for the military, changed his identity, but he was still like possibly the best boxer we've ever seen.
Ever seen.
And we
Ever
remember him
seen.
for that. We remember him for fighting back. We remember him for saying, no, I don't want to go to war. No, I am Muhammad Ali. That Cassius Clay was my government name. He did it his way. That's why we remember him. That's powerful. You got to fight the power, man.
He's a symbol now. He's a symbol now because he's like, hey, I mean, can you imagine that though? I mean, just think about that. Not being reactive.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he was reactive, he would have been a coward and he would have said, no, I'm not changing my name. He probably wouldn't have become the heavyweight champion either.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, you got the bulk of African Americans at the time are Christians. So you got a good part of your base that is not going to agree with you and turn on you.
Yes.
That hurts.
Oh, you know it.
Especially when you represent them. That hurts like hell. So for you still to stand up and say, this is what I believe in, this is what I'm doing, this is the rock that I'm standing on.
Yeah.
Regardless of if you believe in it or not. Wow. And he did it in a way where it didn't. Go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say I never really looked that deeply into Ali like the way that we're talking about it right now. He was an extremely powerful individual, more powerful outside of the ring than he was in the ring. If you really look, far more powerful outside of the ring,
Yes. Changed the world. Became an image of change.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, wow. And he changed the world without hurting anybody. This is a guy that could probably stand next to Martin Luther King as you see people just change the world and peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't hurt nobody. Wouldn't harm a fly. I mean, he was a fighter in the ring, but he was a fighter for what was right.
Absolutely. A
Outside
true
the ring.
American icon.
A true icon, man. And it's just like, wow, if you really look at this man and study him, it's like, this is an amazing human being. It really is, That's probably one of the few people I wanted to meet before he passed. But it's just like,
that's an awesome background for you right now. And we all need to be like that right now, don't we? We need to be proactive. Being reactive, rioting, looting, bringing negative emotions, absorbing negative emotions from other people. That's definitely is not going to get you anywhere.
That's the biggest one right there. Absorbing negative emotions from other people.
Mm-hmm.
Being quick to engage in these negative behaviors on social media that other people are projecting and putting out. Being so quick to hop on somebody might post something negative, and then you're so quick to hop on it to add fuel to the fire to them, which is that's what they wanted. Mm-hmm. They wanted somebody to respond to this negative thought that could have died. If you don't give fire air, don't it die?
Exactly.
So.
Exactly, brother. Exactly.
You gotta put it out, man. You gotta put it out. Put it out. Stand up for what you believe in, and be a symbol for change, man. And when you really when your thoughts are righteous and when your
Yeah.
acts are righteous, it ain't gonna affect nobody else. It's just gonna make this world a better place to live in for everybody. Like Ali, I ain't
There you
hurt
go.
nobody. I believe what I believe, and then at the end of the day, they respected him. You know, at the end of the day, everybody was, "Oh, Ali, Ali." You know,
Yeah.
but in his prime, he wasn't a king. I forget the saying. I think I said it in one other show. A king's only a king when he's away from home. You know.
Yes, a king's only appreciated. Yeah, or the king's just a king. Yeah, exactly. We don't really appreciate what's here in front of us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder,
Yeah.
but we need to
Yeah.
just enjoy it when it's here, man.
Enjoy what's here, man. And, you know, you brought up a book last show by Eli Tolek, The Power of Now. Live in the
Mm-hmm.
present. Live in the now. You know, when you look in the past will
Mm-hmm.
destroy you. The past will have you so crushed
Yeah.
that you can't even, there won't be a future. There's no future for those that look in the past.
Well, most people's past is just like a horror story, isn't it? People tend to remember the most negative things that ever happened to them. So if you're dwelling in your past, more than not likely, it's a negative experience for you, right?
Yeah.
Just your own personal horror movie that you remember all the things that didn't go right every time you made a mistake or blew it, you know, anytime you thought you might have failed, right?
Yeah.
We just torture ourselves with our past, don't we?
Yeah, being reactive to the mind. We're just reacting to what the mind's giving us. Remember that negative thing? Because it's those negative things that scar us. So we carry them with us. We're like, now tell me something positive. It's like when you know, you can always remember that negative experience, but you
Yeah.
forget all the positive experience of what people have done for you, right? So it's like, let's give me that
We're
one negative thing.
programmed to remember. We're programmed for survival. So anytime we make a mistake or there's a danger for us, our mind will hold on to that. You know what I mean? If you know
Yeah,
such and such is a dangerous situation like rushing water or being on the edge of a cliff or just a dangerous person, the mind remembers, you know what I mean? And anytime, unfortunately, anytime you make a mistake, you carry that with you as well. And that's part of the spiritual process, is wiping out all that negativity in your past, because it's not serving you any good. You will become afraid to make a move. You know what I mean? Afraid to fail,
yeah,
afraid to take that next action because things haven't been going the way that you wanted to. So now you just froze up.
yeah,
So definitely we need to be living in the now, like, you know, the Tolly book that you mentioned. That's what it's going to take to get us over this situation. And hopefully, you know, within the next, I hope, a couple of days, everything just comes to, you know what I mean, a uh, just a normal kind of a stasis kind of thing. Because even here in Canada, we've got people protesting, and you know, I'm not sure if there's going to be any rioting, but I can tell you downtown's boarded up. So it's become a
mm,
North American thing, and maybe even a global
yeah,
thing. You know what I mean? I don't. Maybe
yeah,
there's some foreign countries that have had protests. I'm sure that they have. It's an issue in every
well,
country, right?
yeah,
Police
yeah,
brutality is an issue in every country.
yeah.
Racial
It's a
discrimination is an issue.
power, man. Power, politics, and police, man. It's a scary thing, you know. Like you talked
Mm-hmm.
about last show, you know, it didn't even have, it had nothing even to do with the gun. It was just power, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it because I can.
Mm-hmm.
Same psychology that goes into rape,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And that's a really, you know, that's subhuman, you know, for you to
Yeah.
take something that doesn't belong to you
Mm-hmm. By
and
force.
by
Yeah.
force, it's like, whew, it's a scary. That's a scary place to be. Like you
That's the
got to
worst
really be
kind
in
of
a scary
power.
place. You got to
Yeah.
really be in a
That's.
scary place, you know. So, and that's what that power does to them. And power drunk. I mean, there's even experiments on it. I think there's a movie called Experiment where they, you know, these guys they're riding on a bus together. It's a Forrest Whitaker movie, and it's him and another guy, and he becomes the guard. And he's,
Mm-hmm.
oh, hey, how you doing, man? I'm so excited to do this. We're gonna get paid $1,500 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then literally, the dude that becomes the guard, literally goes
Just goes
nuts.
psychotic.
I mean, this movie, yeah, he's just that power, man. power has to be checked.
It's corrupt.
You
Power
know,
has corrupted anyone that has attempted to have it. Very few people can handle power. Every great leader in history, Julius Caesar, from Napoleon, Hitler, you name it, the power corrupted them. It's always been considered a dark force. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Power is something that most people have been trained to stay away from. You know what I mean? They don't want to more responsibility, more money, or more, it's all been associated with something bad because they don't know how to handle it.
yeah,
What are your thoughts on that?
yeah, man. You know, you're right on the money, man. Power has to be checked, man. They don't know how to handle it. People just go. I mean, you can look at, you can find probably 1,000, if not tens of thousands stories like that. Power has to be checked. You know, you got to have
Mm-hmm.
systems in place to check power. I mean, even just the way our judicial system is set up, it's set up so power can be checked. You know, that's what executive, judicial, and legislative branch. I can't say
Yeah.
it, but
No, I
it's
got you,
supposed to,
brother.
it's all got to be checked, man. So
I got you, brother. I got you. Well, definitely there's an imbalance of power right now, but the people are trying to take the power back. And there's been some extreme things happened. I've seen police stations been overrun. We've probably gone a little bit too far, but there needs to be some type of balance. So, like, kind of as we check out here, what kind of tip can you give anybody out there that wants to make a change right now? Anybody that wants to be involved with the solution? What are your words for them? What can you give them?
get active. Get active in your community in all aspects of it. You know, so when things like this happen, you know, it's an opportunity to grow for everybody. It's an opportunity to grow for everybody all around and educate people of what's going on. You know, the media is not always going to tell the story that you wanted to tell it. Unfortunately, they don't represent you. They represent uh, the ratings that they want.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
Or the advertisers?
the advertiser, you know, so they got to make sure they get something that's going to get people to watching, headlines and everything. So you need to get active in your community.
Mm-hmm.
You need to, uh, you know where you're spending your dollars, know where your money's going in and coming out. You know, that's what I would say. What advice would you give?
100% agree with you. 100% agree with when you said get active in the community, because the media can fill you with all sorts of headlines. They're going to try to keep you hooked on whatever it is that their story is. They'll try to give you fear. They'll give you stuff to make you cry. But at the end of the day, when you get active in your community, you've got an ear to the ground and you know exactly what's going on in your neighborhood. You don't need somebody else to tell you about it. You don't need to read a headline. You don't have to go on Twitter. So if you can get involved at that level and get in the grassroots level in the community, make a change, make some new friends of all different walks of life and unite everyone, it doesn't matter what the media wants to report. That's just a headline. Now you're conscious because you're in the middle of it in a way that they'll never be. And you've got your brothers and your sisters, and it doesn't matter, whether they're, living in Beverly Hills or whether they're living out in, like the suburbs. We're all one, and we all need to reach out to each other. Stop letting the media and news program us. Reach out to each other, extend your hand instead of sending prayers and wishes and luck on social media. That's my take.
Just be real, man. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
man. I love it because it's just about being real, and if you truly care, let's put some action behind those words. You know, if
absolutely.
you truly care, people are screaming out in the streets. You know, um, that probably has never been to the Black community to see how can I help. You know, but I'm not questioning how you feel about it in this particular time, but love is a verb, not a noun. Love is
Oh
an
yeah.
action. Oh, I love you. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's an action. Then
I
you show me
treated
with
you with
action.
love.
I treated you with love.
I
Exactly.
showed you love.
You
I
know.
talked to him with love. I
Yeah.
treated, that's the way that it is, brother. And if we just get a little bit more of that, we're gonna
Yeah.
roll right past this and come out
Yeah.
stronger.
Yeah.
Absolutely, brother.
Well, we only need a few, man. I think a few people can ignite the fire within all of us. So all we need is a few. I don't want to uh, make people think we need a whole lot of people. All we need is a handful of people that want to make a change. That's all you need in your community. Get 4 or 5 people that want to do something in the community, make an impact with the children, make an impact with the adults, and educate people around and uplift the community. You might only need 5 in your city. So just grab a group of 5 friends and family members. Say, hey, every weekend from next weekend, we're going to do some get-togethers. We're going to do support this group. We're going to do X, Y, and Z, and just come together. And it's going to grow, but just start with 5 if you got to. Start with 4. Start with 6, 9, whatever that be. Start small. Don't try to start too big because everybody doesn't have the best interest in mind in the long run.
Awesome. Well, that was a wicked episode for us here. We really got what was on our minds out there for all our listeners. And that's a beautiful tip at the end. Get involved with your communities, reach out to your brothers and sisters, unite, and no one else can pull us apart. So this is the Brahman and Bruhman podcast. Hope you loved this episode. Leave your comments below, and we'll be back next week.
Holla.